All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. I see AC Cruz has been waiting. Oh, really? I'm in another thumbnail. How does this keep happening? Well, guys, it means the show is about to start. There. Boy,
I
that was
love
kind
it.
of a glitch. I don't know what happened there. Well,
That was
anyway, I want to thank everybody for waiting. I saw everybody. AC Cruz been waiting probably for 15 minutes. So, hey guys, thanks for stopping in. So today, look who we got. We got Lisa and Jen back. Yay!
Yay!
Hi, guys.
You're kind of hard to pin down sometimes.
Well, I've been busy.
Yeah, so
last week we actually bought a Tesla, and that was like a spur of the moment thing. My father-in-law actually, but he's in our household, so I've been learning some new tech and wondering why we waited so long.
How exciting!
We're going to see a big change in the trend. You watch. It's going to kind of flip the other way. You know who's going to be driving all big SUVs? Hey, you made it back.
People don't realize how quick they are either, Jen.
Oh, I know. It's like pushes you back in your seat.
That's pretty cool. I'd take one. I mean, I know the electric go-karts that I used to drive for fun.
If anybody's thinking about getting a Tesla, get it now, because if you get it under $25,000, there's still a federal $4,000 instant rebate if you buy it at a dealership.
AC Cruz, what's up?
The asking price for it was I think $28,000, but we had a trade-in. And so we said, well, just give us less for the trade-in and bring the price of the Tesla down. And so then it was great.
Yeah.
And get them older and it really dropped in price.
Exactly. He said he'll take any car for free, but but $28,000 is not an unreasonable price for the quality that you're getting.
Yeah, it's a 22 with 56,000 miles on it, and it has the full self-driving unlimited. They already paid for that.
Wow.
Now, if you get them brand new, you have to pay $100 a month for the full self-driving.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. I'm kind of weird about that. I don't know.
I've been going out with my in-laws because they're not necessarily immediately tech savvy kind. So I've been kind of in the passenger seat while they're getting used to all of this. And so far there haven't been any glitches, but yeah, It's definitely takes some getting used to.
So what is the range on the ones that are available now? I know that's
I don't know what the ones that are now, but ours is a performance model, not the long range model, and I think it's about 290 miles on a full charge.
Well, that's not.
It's fast though, so
you're not going to do a cross country trip.
The charge is very fast. There's a whole bank of chargers that are hardly ever used by a restaurant we like to go to. So we drove up there. And we thought, we're going to be eating. It'll take us, 45 minutes, an hour. It hopefully should be done by then. And it took us 15 minutes. I got the little note saying we were down to about 15%. And it went from 15% to 90%. Because they say you really shouldn't charge it to 100% on a regular basis. And it went from like 15% to 90% in 15 minutes.
Nice.
I did not expect that at all. That was one of the reasons why I was like, why do this?
I still don't believe that, the old nickel cadmium was that where they had memory and that you never wanted to fully, because it kind of messed them up. But I thought the new ones were
lithium.
The lithium were, you didn't have to worry about that.
Well, I have the 22 has a different type of lithium technology. The lithium technology that they have now say actually the opposite, that you should charge it to 100% at least once a week.
Really?
Yeah. I don't understand all the science behind it.
Well, and
It's just the memory of the battery.
Well, Elon even
it wasn't the memory. I think it was more of like part of it of the technology of the car is it has this regenerative braking. So if you have if it's already at 100%, it doesn't do the regenerative braking. So in any case, yeah, it's one you start bringing your that really took getting used to. You start bringing your foot up off the accelerator and you start stopping before you even hit the brake. You don't have to hit the brake.
Oh,
so you
that's
just
weird.
everything with just the accelerator, and it will stop you.
I'm sure you get used to that though.
Yeah.
After a bit. Yeah. And then of course in the self-driving mode, you don't have to worry about that at all, right?
Right. And what that person just put up there, my father-in-law doesn't like to drive at night. Neither one of them really like to drive anyway. And so I think it gives my mother-in-law in particular, she was the one, she normally doesn't like to get a new car. They get a new car every couple years or so. Well, new used car. And the last one was an Avalon, and they just got that like a year and a half ago. And she's like, I don't want to we don't need a Tesla. She gets into that thing. They do the full self-driving thing, and she's like, oh, we gotta get this. Oh, this is awesome. I sat in the car and it drove me.
Well,
you bring up a good point though. I'm not sure who said that, I'm sorry, but about her sister with the arthritic hands. Think about Florida as an example. You have a lot of older retirees that just need to go to the grocery store, stuff like that. I said older. I didn't say all retirees. Older retirees. That would help, and disabled people. And trust me, I've driven in Florida, and I would much rather have the self-driving car than some of them at 96 driving.
Yeah.
So
and it lets them have their freedom that much longer.
Yeah.
Independence.
It's important. It's really important to them. They live longer, they're happier, and I love all our old people. I got a big heart, for them, and so whatever it takes to
well, because eventually we all become one.
Well, exactly. I'm going to need diapers too someday.
But based on our 1 week experience with it, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Someday I'll get old.
Exactly. It's a state of mind. Oh, I didn't mean exactly to that. I just meant it's a state of mind. Mm-hmm. Don't go getting me in trouble, John.
What? I didn't say anything. Someday I'll catch up to Dave.
Kind of wanted to talk about Jen's, buddy there in California, your governor.
Oh, not my buddy.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I've really noticed he's doing kind of, I think it's a strategic move. He's got his new platform, his, YouTube channel and so forth. And,
good Lord.
So he's bringing on all his, talk to the enemy kind of thing, where sit down and talk from both sides, which I think is a good thing. However, I started noticing,
reasonable.
Yes, I know, but as I watched it, I noticed him like kind of coming around on some of the topics, and then so I'm thinking, he's softening up, and then I thought about it a little bit more, and I think this guy, he's strategically doing this. And then this last bit where he came out and he called his own party, toxic. I think he's breaking himself away from his own party on purpose to try to appeal to the bigger voter base, and he's winning a lot of people over, thinking, he's not so bad. But that's because of the talk that he's doing now. It doesn't mean that's the way he really will be. I think that's
not the way he's governed in the last 8 years.
Right, as it's not the way he governed.
However long he was a mayor in San Francisco with the poop maps for the homeless that he's responsible for.
You were just reminding me. He secretly financed a bust of himself to be put in. What was it? The library, some library or something.
I saw that.
In San Francisco. I'm like, oh my God,
that's horrible. What a narcissist.
We just had a sermon in church today talking about how you're not supposed to be, putting yourself up there. If somebody else wanted to do that, fine. Like Trump has a bunch of people that want to put him on Mount Rushmore. It's not Trump saying I should be on Mount Rushmore.
Right.
I believe that's going to actually happen. That will happen.
I hope so.
We get out of this mess that we're in. We get out of this mess we're in, and our country goes in the right direction. You better believe that will be a reality.
Well, yeah. They would have to remove all that environmental protection stuff that's caused all this stuff that we can't have fireworks at the Mount Rushmore anymore. That used to be a tradition where they would shoot up fireworks behind Mount Rushmore and put on a big old show.
Well, by that time they'll have a different governor. Trust me.
Yeah. Well,
it wasn't the governor; it was Biden. It was Kristi Noem was the governor then.
Too.
Yeah, I think we'll see fireworks there this July.
Yes, it was Biden. It was not Kristi Noem.
So I have a little clip of that. What I actually got Gavin in the hot seat here.
Crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense. And I think with this podcast and having the opportunity to dialogue with people I disagree with, it's an opportunity to try to find common ground and not take cheap shots. I'm not looking to put a spoke in the wheel of their, or at least a crowbar in the spokes of their wheel to trip them up, to your point. And I think it's important. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. And Democrats need to own up to that. They've got to mature about this.
Gotta mature. Yeah. So he's basically just said they're acting like kids. I
have Italian family, and that bugs me.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that he is so absolutely woke himself, if that was any other Democrat that we didn't know anything about, then you might be able to take it as that this is a reasonable Democrat. But no, he's just a chameleon, and he's like a slithering used car, not to
snake.
Yeah, snake. But your stereotypical, the bad stereotype of a used car salesman.
Yeah,
just greasy, tell you anything you want to hear just to get that sale.
He is a dork. He just every time he talks, I think the most important person listening to him is himself. Number one. Number two, he's going to say anything and everything he can to get to where he wants to go. And I can't believe it.
His platform has grown really quick. He has like 21 videos. He's already at 57,000 subscribers. But the thing about it is
I don't think it's that quick. For somebody of his stature to only have 57,000, I don't think that's very good.
Yeah, but he had 21,000 and he only had one video. I mean, that's how many subscribers. But because
that was just him sending out an email to get 21,000.
But the thing is he's also picking certain people that maybe I want to hear talk on his show. So then I end up watching his show.
I agree. I
end up being part of that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So by bringing in the opposition, you're bringing in that part of the audience too, and that's why I think the whole thing that he decided to do.
But he's lied too many times.
Brilliant on his side.
I agree, Dave. It is brilliant.
I like it. It was a brilliant idea. And,
from a strategy, it is. But John, I agree. I mean, we at this point we can only base it on his actions.
Yeah, it's just not.
Go ahead.
I remember. Let's go all the way back to the French Laundry. I remember when that happened. Now, at that particular time, most of us that are not from California really didn't know who the hell he was, and we just knew that he was the governor. And the next thing you know, we have this guy after they really piled it on him. he finally comes out and he goes like, well, I'm really very sorry. He said, I did not realize that was going to cause any problems. Excuse me, you got everybody else locked up, but you're going to go out yourself? Just the way he came across was like, well, there's no problem. I mean, it's just, he didn't even really apologize. He just said he didn't think it was going to be that much of a problem. It's only a few people. It's only my friends and my close relatives. Well, what the hell do you think for Thanksgiving is? Friends and close relatives and Christmas. It's just a point of, I remember what he was like that. That was like 4 years ago. And he hasn't changed one bit. He's been lying every damn day. In other words, if it doesn't suit his purpose, it's going to be a lie. Yeah. Only he's not as good as Adam Schiff is.
Yeah, a lot of videos are popping up of some of the things he said like 4 and 5 years ago, and even
what he said,
that scandal where he got caught with the banks that and his wife being in a nonprofit, and one of the bank people was on the board, and I mean, just it was a mess.
And that's the same playbook that we're seeing now that Doge is just uncovering with everything. And that's what it is. It's all a big scam. Enrich himself. I don't know.
But you imagine if you're sitting here and saying, well, I'm against corruption, and I don't want people stealing the money, our tax-paying dollars, and then all of a sudden somebody's doing something about it, and you find out it's the guy that you don't like in the office. Now all of a sudden you hate the whole idea. That part I just can't understand the thought process that allows people to completely go the other direction, what's right and wrong, just because they just don't like who's in the office.
Acceptance. I think people are weak. A lot of people are weak, and they just want to be accepted, and it's easier. They're weak or lazy, and they just want to be accepted, and be with the in crowd kind of thing. And it's not, that don't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. But Jen, what are you hearing on the ground about Gavin? I mean, being in California?
Well, there's still people who would really like to see him recalled over the fires along with Bass. My opinion is it's a waste of time to do that, and it would probably hurt us, because the problem with the recall and why we did so poorly the first time around, that when that's when I started my YouTube channel and got involved with doing the election watching and working on the elections, was because I was supporting Larry Elder. But Larry Elder was limited as to how much money he could put in, and so was anybody else running against him. But the incumbent, not Gavin Newsom at the time, he was not limited, so he could spend all this money and beat him off, and the vote was split among all these people because there was no primary for it. So he's going to be out. He's going to be out in next year. He's an off year, so he gets voted out, term limited, year 26. So there's no point in trying to do the recall, and then he could get an incumbent. So even if he doesn't win, if a Democrat gets in, then they have the incumbency when they run for the full term in 2026. And when a person has incumbency, that 90% of the time they win, especially in California with a Democrat.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lisa. Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I know. I was just going to say, I think she's right, because the Democrats have had historically a lot more money than a lot of Republican candidates because of the games that have been played with the GOP. And I also think that it's better that the Republicans, America First candidates, take their time to grassroots, raise money, stay on the down low as much as possible, and then just come out swinging. I mean, that's what I would do.
And we need to decide on a candidate, because we have the stupid jungle primary out here. And if you have too many Republicans running in the primary for governor, it's the top 2 vote getters that get to run off in the general. So if you got too many Republicans splitting the vote, you could have two Democrats wind up being the ones that run for the general election.
Right.
As to who I would favor right now, I wish Larry Elder would have stayed involved, but he seemed like he's got the attention span of a gnat, and I don't know that I really want him to come back at this point. But the sheriff that was in charge of the Coachella, I forget his name, but he's running.
Yeah.
And so considering that he hosted Trump, maybe he won't shy away from being associated with him. And I think that's what we need. The Republican Party here in California are very wussy, and they don't take a stand. And this sheriff seems like he would. And one of the things that he actually said that he would want to do is eliminate the state income tax in California.
Oh, that would help him get elected.
You know what? That's going to get me going again. What was it? Mississippi just signed it that they're going to eliminate state income tax.
Difficulties right now. Give me a moment.
Oh, you are? Okay. They're going to eliminate the state income tax, but I think that sometimes this all is just a ploy, because when you look deep into the proposal, they're going to do 25% drop every year. Right now, okay. Right now in Mississippi, it's 4.4%, right? So they're going to initially drop down to 3%, and then gradually drop it down 0.25% every year till it gets to zero. Okay, so if you do the math, that's another 6 years down the road, and then by the way, it won't go into effect till 2026. So you know what I mean? It's almost like the Biden student forgiveness thing, where
student loan forgiveness.
Everybody loved it, but if you read the paper, you had to have your loan paid down to $12,000 before there was any consideration. But all the liberals are going, yeah, but it was worthless. It really was. Well, I mean, 12 grand's a lot of money, but you would have to be paying for like 10 years or more before you even qualify. So
it's political games.
They throw it out there, and you just see the headline, but not the actual working, inner workings. Well, did you get your stuff all fixed there, William? I don't know if he's moving.
No. No, it sucks. It's all messed up.
You kept popping in, but there was no video. So I don't know what was going on.
I know. Dollar store internet here. Yeah.
Dollar store internet.
It's okay. I'm kind of working right now.
Yeah.
I'm working a little bit now, but it's liable to go out. I even I don't want to break the conversation, but got switched to a phone provider network, so it was supposed to be a better coverage, and I think I went the wrong way.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
It's kind of working now.
Yeah, I tried to get HughesNet for the house, and it's the worst.
Oh well, we're here.
It's the worst.
Thanks for having me.
So, what's she saying? How do you start I'll read this here. Tech conservative, hit the ground running in California. Okay. Oh yeah, need Kerry Lake type badass. Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got the name. So Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And under his leadership, they went from having 3,000 CCWs to having 42,000 CCWs. So that sounds, pro 2A there too.
Nice. Yeah. And he did come out pretty strongly. I know there was a lot of misinformation around the rally and that guy. Yeah. But I think he did a really good job at trying to clear it up, being transparent. Mm-hmm. And I think he could possibly be a Kerry Lake type badass for California. I mean, I don't know a huge amount about them, but from what I saw, I liked.
Yeah. Yeah. But we do need somebody to rally around.
Yeah.
So did
will be good.
Anybody watch the that Doge? I missed it. I was working, but did anybody watch where they got together? And how was that?
It was great, and I wish they didn't cut so much out, because I could tell that there was more to some of the answers that these people were giving. But in the interest of time, they kept cutting things, and so you didn't get the whole interview. I feel like there was a lot on the cutting room floor, and I would like to see a totally uncensored 3 hours with them. Is what I would have liked to have seen of Joe Rogan type. They need to do that. Network. Get him on Joe Rogan. Have all those Doge people with Elon and do that interview again with Joe
down
Rogan.
For 3 hours and talk. Yeah,
that's a great idea. I would love to see that.
No commercial interruptions, just talk.
I love that idea. Absolutely.
I think part of the problem we have right now with Doge is too many people are over anxious. We want answers. We want answers now. We want arrests now. We want trials now. In other words, I mean, it's only been since the 20th of January. I mean, it's really not been that long since Trump's been in office.
It's barely 2 months.
I mean, literally. And yet we have to sit there and just think that we've just gone through 4 years of pure hell. 4 years counting every single damn day. And it's just been pure hell. And all of a sudden now we've got to learn how to back up and just sit and relax, let them do their work, because what's happening right now is all the little rats are down there. They're trying to cover everything up. And I'm sure this has been part of the problem. I mean, you have the people that are there, Bondi and Cash Patel. These people are animals. They're going to get something, but yet you can't get something until you find it. And now they've got all the paperwork, and they've got to go through all of it in order just to do things in the right fashion, make sure that certain things are redacted, like the names of the actual victims of the Epstein people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all crazy, folks. It's just that we need to have a little bit more patience. But with the patience, you've got these jerks, coming out, starting all these protests and the fire and stuff like that. I think that the Trump organization is handling this really good by our press, I should say, the good guys, we the good guys, by showing all this Tesla stuff and showing the public that, hey, look, you're burning somebody else's car. The car doesn't belong to Elon Musk. It's not his vehicle. You're destroying your own. And how many people?
Well, but people have been known to burn their own towns down. You know what I mean?
That's why I said now is the time to buy the Tesla, because all these dumb liberals are selling them, and you can get them at
and maybe even buy stock because it went.
And buy the stock too. Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing is on the arrest part of it, we need to be patient because we want justice. We don't want these people getting off on a technicality. I mean, so that takes time, and they need to be meticulous and follow the law.
Mm-hmm. But the beautiful thing is that Teslas have Sentry mode, and all these people are getting recorded.
Yes, they're idiots.
That's crazy.
I love when they're looking around and the camera's right there in their face.
Well, especially that one guy goes back, gets into his car. You can see the back of his car. You can see the driver, the license plate, everything. I'm like, what an idiot. And he was really getting back at Elon. Boy, I bet that really hurt.
He got back and real good.
Especially when he got arrested. And before everybody, really like, the one good thing I think for Elon is that this has opened a lot of people's eyes to his cars that are on the right. And so now more people that are conservative, that when they wouldn't have considered buying a Tesla before, because that's what the Democrats were rallying on, climate change and all of this. Now conservatives are like, let's take a look. And then they find out they like it, Exactly. So
I started investing actually a few months ago in Tesla, because not really because of the car, because I wasn't sold on the car yet then, but because of the robot coming out. And I was thinking, this is going to be sold under the Tesla brand name. This is not just about cars. This would be really cool.
I know. Is it a Maximus or?
You know that Tesla makes a wheelchair too. That's
really
a smart wheelchair. Yes, I just saw it the other day. Not that I'm looking for wheelchairs, mind you, but it has self-driving and it's navigation, all that, and the part that a lot of people don't like, it also is Neuralink compatible, to where if somebody is completely,
quadriplegic,
right, they get a chip put in and they can think it around, make it drive.
Well, I saw one particular video about the robots coming out. And actually, in a way, there's going to be a good part coming out. It deals sexually, because what they're talking about is with some of these new robots, this is going to take care of the porn industry and just completely destroy it. No longer do you have to watch these young girls and all the rest of this stuff when you can buy your own personal robot. I mean, I watched this thing. It was like a half an hour. I'm going like, and the way they put it across, I started cracking up at the beginning with. Yeah, I mean, literally, I'm
not touching that one.
I got you girls.
I got me a new wife, But it's the point of, hey, it's going to destroy that industry, and I don't think they want that to be around because, hey.
If it does, I'd be happy. That's about all I'm going to say about that, because I think the industry needs to go away.
No, there'll be a whole new section of that where people will just bang robots and do porn with robots. Watch and see.
Okay.
AI is probably going to get rid of that too, because the videos that Benny Johnson puts out, their meme videos, it is crazy how they can put the likeness of Donald Trump or Elena Haba or Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of these people on other people, and it makes it, they're speaking words that is like, wow. Except that I know that scene is from a movie, so I know it's fake. But if they didn't do that, if it was just a regular video that you didn't know from a movie, I wouldn't even know how to tell the difference anymore.
Oh,
it's spooky. Yeah. It's spooky.
Well, I think AI, the way it's going to kill it for all the Hollywood stars, because eventually there's going to be no need for actors. You're just they're just going to generate it.
Yeah, they'll just be in plays, and then people can just go old school, pay top dollar just to be able to see how.
They'll have robots at the plays. They'll put robots in the plays.
It'll be like a Chuck E. Cheese. It'll be like a Chuck E. Cheese. Remember the. Yeah, you know what? A funny story when I was a kid. I hope my internet holds up. But funny story as a kid is I actually walked up to the stage and then seen all the air hoses hooked to the pneumatic robots. It was pretty. I was like, oh,
you were traumatized.
Yeah, because I was little and I seen all these hoses hooked to it, and I was like, oh my god, this is weird.
Well, when I was a kid,
any weirder than those being real?
Disneyland.
Well, yeah.
What, Dave?
In Disneyland, when I was a kid,
Howdy Doody.
Go ahead.
At Disneyland, when I was a kid, they had the Lincoln Memorial Show or whatever, and that was to me was mind blowing for back then. It was the animatronics that Disney.
Pirates of the Caribbean too. I remember that one. Yeah. It's incredible, but I think it's neat that with the Mars stuff, Elon said he's going to send Maximus instead of an actual astronaut. And I think that's amazing. Because why?
Sense. Walk around, tell us what it's like.
What a Nissan Maxima?
No, Optimus. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maximus, Optimus, Gladiators, whatever.
Gladiator, yes.
But Optimus is going to go to Mars first.
Good.
And going back to the wheelchair thing and the Neuralink, I mean, to me, if you're a quadriplegic and you want to try it, hey, who am I to say, it's your body, it's your life in that aspect, because it's to control.
Kind of like the right to try thing.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, there you go. There's the right to try rule.
Yeah. I mean, but
you can't say
John and his robots
anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry. I meant in the ass, like, I mean, they don't have the use of their arms or their legs. I mean, and anything that's going to make them better, of course, like, I'm all for, but at the same point, it's not something that needs to be ever forced on anybody either. Because I don't like the whole idea of switching consciousness into these robots. That's where I worry. That's where I think that's playing God, and you can't do that.
Where does it end?
You're just the greatest. I love you.
Okay, you're still in the gutter.
Oh Lord.
Well, after they had the Doge interview with Brett Baer, my Facebook stream has been flooded with misinformation about the stupid Social Security thing again, still, where they're saying, NBC put out this article saying there's going to be some anomalies and people aren't going to get their check in June. Well, once you read it, you realize it's because of what happens every year. You get paid on the first of the month unless it falls on a weekend or a federal holiday. So then it gets pushed to earlier, not later. So if the first of the month is a Saturday, guess what? You're getting paid on the 31st of May. So May is going to have 2 checks, and June is going to have 0.
Double last. Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's what they concentrate on. Oh, I'm not going to get my check in June. What am I going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's and people, they fall for it, and that's what's sad. I mean, they fall for it, and they have 96-year-old grandmas out there all worked up over nothing. And,
I've got
the
friends
thing about the Medi-Cal,
in California that are complaining about it. That I'm like, I thought they were smarter than that.
Yeah. And then the thing about Medi-Cal too, I don't know if you guys have heard from Carl DeMaio. He was on the budget committee. He's a new assemblyman for California out of San Diego.
Yeah.
And he is behind Reform California. He's behind a ballot initiative to have voter ID and voter verifying citizenship when you register to vote the first time in California. And anyhow, he was on the budget committee, and he was talking to the health person that's in charge of Medi-Cal, which is the poor person's thing for healthcare. Come to find out, they have over $9 billion is being paid to illegal immigrants that are on the California's healthcare system because they fully expected it to be covered by Medicare.
Nice.
Now Trump is aware of it and is getting denied. And so this is going to be destroying California's budget. They no doubt have been getting this covered by the federal government for the last 4 years. That's why they were doing it.
But everybody but the governor will get blamed for this. You know what I mean? It'll be Trump's fault, it'll be Doge's fault. But in reality, it's giving a non-citizen tax support, or our tax dollars support, or payroll. I guess we do Medi-Cal, Medicare. It's all part of income tax and so forth. But the point is that I don't think they qualify for it, and that somebody had to make a decision in California to allow this.
They did, and that was a few years back where they said that all illegals were getting free health care, and it's ridiculous. And there's an example of what the unintended consequences of this are, as well, is that they passed a law for the ambulance service. So if you don't have insurance and you have to have an ambulance ride, you are limited to being charged $600 by California law.
Right.
If you have insurance, then you pay more. So this gentleman, he's a comedian. This clip has gone viral, 30 million views. I don't remember the name of the comedian, but his daughter had a food allergy. He had to call an ambulance. He was initially charged $600, and he thought, hey, I have insurance. In the heat of the moment, we didn't have time to get all that done. I'm going to submit my insurance so that $600 will come down, right? Because I have insurance.
Right.
His bill went up to $1,300. The actual cost that his insurance was charged was actually $2,400, but the insurance paid $900 of it. He then had to pay the $1,300. If he had not given them his insurance information, he would have been limited to the $600.
And the other thing is, they would have been able to claim more money. The state, right? They paid $6, but they would have got back. The state would have from the federal government.
Apparently that is the 100% Medicare reimbursement rate for an ambulance ride.
Okay, but
so the federal government will reimburse only $600 for your medical. So that's why they limited it.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So then they would get reimbursed.
When my husband, he broke his ribs, right? And they were trying to say that he had COVID back when all of that was going on. Okay. And we went to a walk-in clinic, and then they wanted to transfer him to the hospital. Well, they wouldn't let me see him. Okay. I almost got arrested, by the way, but, they wouldn't let me see
like you.
Yeah, well, it's my husband. They wouldn't let me see him, and they insisted on sending him from the walk-in clinic in an ambulance to the hospital 2 blocks away, which I could have drove him, no problem. Then I get a bill for $3,000. I was like, pound sand. Because he was even telling them, no, my wife can take
I don't consent. Yeah, I don't consent to this.
And they insisted.
Well, I got that too. I had where somebody hit me, and then my wife I called my wife after the accident that the EMTs wanted to put me in the ambulance and drive me to the hospital. And I said, nah, my wife's on her way. And she got there, and we said, no, all right. There's no reason. I'm conscious and I'm not bleeding out.
Right.
There's no reason I have to ride in the ambulance just to get to the same hospital. So, yeah, I know. They sometimes are very, very pushy trying to get that.
It's a racket. It's a racket.
Well,
to me.
They go through the trouble of driving out there. They want to make sure that they get some payday on the way home. On the way back. I mean.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but charging people $3,000 for something that should be $600 or whatever.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they have to do that because they have so many illegals. Now, anybody, you try and put that out on some sort of discussion board and Facebook group, and they're like, well, it's against federal law for illegals to get all these benefits. So you're lying. That's fake news. It's like, no, it isn't. For the last 4 years, California has been getting the money from the federal government. That's why they keep doing this. But until Doge and until, we had somebody like Carl DeMaio pointing it out that this is what was happening, that would have been continued to have been paid.
Exactly. And quite honestly, I mean, Mr. is it DeMaio? Is that
DeMaio,
it?
Carl DeMaio.
He should actually require an audit of how that account was spent.
He's trying to, but of course, he has to do it through fundraising because they're not going to get it from the California budget to pay
that's
for
true.
That kind of audit. In fact, he was kicked off of the budget committee because he really embarrassed California.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's helping California. Wow.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. The Republican Party in California is so weak-willed that, he even has people in his own party that are not supporting him because they should have put a really big stink about, hey, look, we decide who our members are on these committees, and they didn't.
Yeah. Is William frozen or?
No, I'm just sitting here.
I wasn't sure.
He's afraid that he's going to disappear.
Yeah. No. We got right. My internet's so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, we expect that out of John. He's way down there in Brazil.
Hey, I don't have a problem. We even have a thunderstorm in the vicinity.
Wow.
And it's still on. All right.
Ironically,
Hey, Dave.
this is what's really strange. because we're in the mountains, we get very powerful rainstorms, and I mean rain, because we're at the top of the mountain. And what happens is sometimes the rain comes down, it opens up like a gusher. In other words, like somebody opened up a big barrel of water, dumped it on your car, just like a big splash. And it could happen in the middle of the street, or it could happen anywhere. It's just certain the macro bus. But here's the funny thing. In all the years I've been here now for 6 years, never once has the power gone out electricity gone out during this thunderstorm or during a rain. When
like
it's
up here.
nice, dry, sun's out, no wind, nothing, boom, there goes the power out.
Oh.
There is no explanation for it. No explanation.
That's weird. Dave, I was going to ask you, you're an RVer, so have you had any experience with Starlink for internet?
Oh yeah, I've been using Starlink for the last 2 years. I'm on Starlink right now.
Oh, okay.
So, but it is subject to because there are a few holes in the sky, so the dish will sometimes you'll have a little gap and you'll lose internet for a second and come back. So for streaming, I use Speedify, which I'll either use a hotspot on my phone, and what it does is it blends the two internet connections. So if one drops, the other one takes over, and it pretty much stabilizes it. But it sometimes you during bad weather, they both are bad sometimes. So yeah.
Okay.
But I'd love to have it, but we're in an apartment.
If you're using it for home, it's a little cheaper, but it's probably one of the most expensive ones out there. But it's the best satellite internet compared to Dish and HughesNet and all those. Yeah.
My first experience with high speed was with Dish back in early 2000s, and it was where you got the fast download, but you still had to dial in for your upload.
yeah, that was crazy.
I remember that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. They don't have we're in an apartment now, so they don't have one for apartments. And where I live, I would probably come home and the whole thing would be gone. But I
miss California fiber optics. Man, that was blazing.
I had Spectrum in Florida.
Those holes, though, Dave, are going away more and more every launch. So,
Yeah, I know. When we first got Starlink, there was some states like down near where Nina is, Alabama and parts of Florida that were kind of blued out, or they kind of grayed out, you might say, on the map. But it still worked, but you noticed you wouldn't get as good reception. But by the end of that first year, it was whole United States was available, so it was pretty good.
And Jen, my friend, has an RV and they use it on theirs, but there's two plans. One is just the normal plan, and one is for travel and RV. Right. They said that they prefer just the normal, cheaper plan. It works just as fine, but they also don't like constantly travel. It's just for
the
weekend trips.
The roaming one, you can put it on pause, but in order to have two and get the $50, the second $50 one, you have to enroll it as your home, then get the roam, then you can turn the roam on and off. But the roam ends up being the $50 one, not your house. So they got to figure it out. They get you coming, but no matter which way you go. So,
well, hopefully the price will come down as more satellites go up. Is what I'm thinking, but we'll see.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't even know they had a roam feature, because that's what I was worried about. My husband would like to get the Starlink, but I was like, we still need internet at home to do all the cameras so that we can be able to view them while we're not home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I would, like I said, I would love to have it, but I'm more worried about my dish getting stolen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're pretty close. We're running out of things to talk about, and it's really hard to have William up there in the screen and not hear from him. Or maybe it's a blessing. I don't know.
Well, here, talk about this. Trump's third term. Did y'all hear about that? Trump's third term?
I heard that he talked about that today.
Possibility.
What did he say?
Tell us.
So much what he said.
I think
I read a
he's
few
trolling.
headlines. I haven't dug into it too much. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, pretty much what it's all about is he's trying to throw a hell of a scare into the Democrats, because there is a way around this. There really is. If he can get anywhere near to a trial about the 2020 election being stolen, look out.
Ooh.
It's heads up and heads down, because if it's been stolen, that number 46 gets completely wiped out, and he actually won that. So therefore, there's something to talk about there. And even then,
well, how would you nullify something that's already? Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I think he's.
Go ahead.
I think he needs to pass the torch. I mean, he is definitely, I think, great at what he's doing, but he's getting older, and I think he's doing a great job at letting JD Vance get out there and speak. And like, he sent him off to Greenland, and I think JD Vance is really, really taking that torch, and I think he would be a great successor to Trump. So
I think the point
was that kind of battle and get everybody all upset.
But the point is if that were to go to court,
and then bring it around for Trump's son, Barron.
I love Barron.
Right. But I think the point is if it were to go to trial, then you would see that Trump is actually on his third term, technically.
Right.
But you can't go back and erase the whole Biden years. I mean, but
maybe you can nullify some of these crazy judges, though.
But Doge won't want to spend the money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think honestly, there's still a case that has not been settled. Brunson has not been settled. Well, it's been settled, but it has not come out yet. And everybody's kind of like, what's going on with it? And so I think this is something that can be addressed. But I think he's probably wants to prove himself right again, and that he said he didn't lose. But I don't think he's going to want to undo everything, erase everything. I think he's going to just take it as whatever, and he's using it as trolling. And without getting into more of my own personal conspiracy theory thoughts, that's about as good as I can do.
Well, to put it in the National Archives, have it put in the National Archives, what happened would be nice, and a historical document of some of the things that the United States went through would be pretty epic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, I think, history will show and prove him right. I think is basically what'll happen. So I don't think that we're going to see this whole big hoopla, but
we should all get those Trump hats. Trump was right about everything.
Yes. I love those hats. Yeah. I don't have that one yet. I'm working on it. Well, this has been a great fun. I love all you guys.
All right. Well, this gives us a chance to get together and talk, about things during the week. So you guys don't have to come every single time. I send the link out, and if you can make it, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been great, Jen. I mean, I learned a lot more about what's going on in California too, because I've been really busy and I haven't been able to keep up. The only thing I've seen is Gavin with his hands, but that,
Well, Trump needs to come back here.
Can't mistake that. He does this. Yeah.
Because remember when Trump came here, I think he wasn't even quite, he may not have even been he had just gotten sworn in on the 21st, and he was in California by the end of that week, like the 27th, 26th of January. And he told Bass, and he said, I don't want all this messing around with all these permits that take forever. Yep. Well, here we are now 2 months later. And you know how many permits have been granted?
4.
5.
4.
Oh.
All right.
And they're trying to send all that toxic burn material up to my backyard. We have a Lancaster landfill, 20 minutes away from me, and they're trying to put a bunch of the fire debris there. It's run by a Republican.
Why don't they separate it all?
Well, they need to. I mean, I think Elon should get involved in that because a lot of it is from the batteries that were burning and the temperature that it was burning at. And I think
from all the Teslas that burned,
and I think that's something that he should get involved with to help with the environmental impact part.
Definitely. But apparently there's only a few certified hazardous material landfills in California. And these ones that they're trying to reach out into are not certified. And so when those hazardous materials get in there, there's a lot of people that have well water.
Yeah.
So all those, if they aren't certified, they don't have the heavy duty plastic that keeps the stuff from getting into the groundwater. And that's the reason why they shouldn't be just willy-nilly saying, okay, we'll send it to Lancaster because at least the people in Los Angeles don't have to deal with it.
Right. But
there's a big place out by Needles, a huge place that they dug up for toxic, considered hazardous waste. And it's all lined like what you're talking about. They lined it with this really thick kind of rubbery stuff, and it's supposed to be there for thousands of years. I mean, wow.
Well, I think they should treat it honestly. I think they should bin it up and put it in one of the radiological sites. To be quite honest with you, that would be the because it's already there. It's there's big canisters with radioactive waste. I mean, just put it in one of those, ship it off to there, and everybody's safe. And it's already established. You don't have to build anything. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. It's already paid for. So just ship it off. But
it's just too far. And we don't have that many trucks here anymore. We have so many trucks that are sidelined because they don't meet the emission standards of California.
Yeah, well, Trump's going to need to get involved. I mean, I don't see, everybody that's in California, please rally together on X. Send it to Trump, send it to Elon, send it to Stephen Smith, send it to his administration, and don't stop. They will see it and they will listen to you. I have to say one thing I've noticed is if enough people bring forward issues, you're seeing things happen. That's unusual. They are reading it. And I think honestly, Elon is using AI to look for terms and go through stuff. So
and tag them. That's the democratization of our world now with the social media. You tag the person you want to see it, and they may have somebody that be like, hey, we've gotten a lot of tags on
because I've seen him repost things that people have tagged him on. Yep.
Exactly. And it's not just only big influencers, it's everyday people. Yeah. So I think he's employing that technology for good in this case to make sure nothing, too big slips through the cracks, so to speak. So if you're in California, I highly recommend you do that because, I think it's working. So, I mean,
next time I come out there, I will.
Yes.
And we cannot let that stuff.
All right, guys.
Share that that ballot initiative about the voter ID in California.
You got it.
Okay. Right. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna have to get out of here. I want to thank everybody: AC Cruz, Andrew, Stephanie, Nancy Dunks. It was good to see Nancy Dunk out there. Everybody who participated in the chat, we appreciate you stopping by. And we'll see you next week. Okay.
All right.
Have a